Okay, Tanya, you can go live if you want to. Or are you waiting for more of a quorum? You ready to go there, Tanya? Or you want to wait just a bit longer? Or Nicole, do you want to go?
I think we're good to go. Tanya, whenever you want to start, are we good? You're muted, my dear.
Sorry. I had some music playing on my computer. So I was like, why can't I hear anybody? That my volume was turned off, and then I didn't want to blare you guys out with my music before. So I had to do some quick finagling here. So, all right. Hey, everybody. Glad to see. Oh, can I start?
Yes.
All right. So, hey, everybody. Glad to see you. This is one of those times when it's good to have a virtual meeting when a huge snowstorm is coming. So we will, that means we can just keep you here forever and ever. Oh, wait, no, we have a school board meeting tonight, so I guess we can't do that. So we have 45 minutes tonight so that Justin can be ready to get things going for the school board meeting. I did a budget, but I can't remember now if I sent it out to you, and I might not have. On our budget today, we just are going to be reviewing the 2021 budget, which we kind of have been looking at in bits and pieces over the last couple of times, but now we think we finally have it all put together to go through tonight. And then we're just going to have Ryan talk a little bit about the CRCSD courses that are going to be starting up here soon. And then we will kind of talk about our next meeting and items for future agenda. So should be short and sweet. Is there anything else that anyone wants to add to the agenda? Okay, now I gave you a chance. So Nicole, do you want to start by kind of going through the budget?
Sure. So everybody should have got the budget spreadsheet today, which is a Google sheet. So if you look at the top, carryover or carry forward is at 327,000, and then the new allocation is the 1,179,000 for the total of $1,507,567. So if you look at expenses as of actually today, that is in the column below that on the left, but the yearly budget needed is that middle column. So when you look at the unspent total, I took the total of how much we have with this yearly budget to come up with really what we have as money that isn't currently allocated, even though we've only expended the $486,903.80 at this point of time. If you look, the educational professional 191st day, we updated the amount there. And then for the nurse, not one nurse, sorry, the nurses that fall under the teacher contract, the additional funds. And then the educational professional development temp assignment. So I gave you all of that information. Please keep that. I mean, it is public knowledge, but please keep, because you have, again, the breakdown of the per diem with the names of everything. But I wanted to give you the full picture view of what we've expended in that account. So most of that was actually approved in June before my arrival or before the TQ team would have been looking at all the specifics. One question in my mind as we move forward is when people submit requests, I think those requests could come to this group to actually look at if it's going to come out of the TQ funds of how many people and what explicitly that work is and what that allocation or cost is going to be. I think would be really nice if this team would review and either say yay or nay or ask more questions at that point of time. I don't know if we want to pause there for a minute and have a little discussion if this team agrees with that.
I would just say, for you that have been on the committee for a while, I was explaining to Nicole that we, a couple years ago, well, it used to be separated, the Common Core budget, we automatically took out that amount and it was separated and we didn't do anything with that as far as TQ. Then when it all came to us in one big pot, we talked about it and as a committee said, that's fine. Common Core, that budget amount can still go to curriculum. And we hadn't known about doing it any different way. And so I would be interested to hear what others think about that. It is the teacher quality budget is the teacher quality budget. And we know from the very beginning of this that we have always been in charge and looking at how that money's being spent. And so it makes sense to me that we would review how it's being spent for curriculum development as well. So anyone have other comments, especially those that have been here a while and been through the conversations?
I
I
saw some
agree.
heads nod.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Thank you,
Pat.
Pat.
Yes, you're welcome. That silence, it's kind of like when I'm teaching my class. I think I would agree with you, Tanya. I think that when the shift kind of came where it was like, where it always was the TQ and then came in the core or the curriculum money, then it just kind of became this big lump of, well, we're going to spend this, and then curriculum money. And so it's
Right.
kind of where that money just it was just this magical amount then but we never really knew what happened with it. So I think that'd be great to know some of that breakdown.
Thanks, Pat. Nicole, did you speak to the 209 is what we've spent so far, which is what you sent us, but there is a budget of 300,000. And so that would be money that would be spent from now until June 30th. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is money that could be spent, but it sounds like this group, if there is a need then for work for teachers, content leads, whoever to work together could come before this committee to then review that and approve that. There is some funds on here that have not been utilized, but the dates are passed. So I'm going to make sure with Julie was nice enough to put this nice spreadsheet together for me that all of those people and these are all finished. So there'll be no additional costs coming from things that had been approved previously. One other thing that comes out of this area is there's quite a few actually part-time teachers. So on days like today, they have the opportunity to work their additional hours for the full day. So for example, if I'm a 25% time teacher, I can put in for that extra 6 hours and I have to, log that and clock that with Laura, but there's additional costs that come out of there. So far this year, prior to today, there was $11,468.99 to date. So some teachers put in and take advantage of that opportunity and participate in the professional learning and others do not. That's their choice. There will be some more costs on that, but based on previous background information, we don't think that will be over 20,000 for the year. So just throwing that out, that's also in this category and column.
And I think also because of the way our year started, that was done just a little bit differently than normal as well, because we had those, almost 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks of professional learning time before the school year started. So there was additional days in there that part-time teachers could use as well. So what I'm hearing and seeing with the head nods is that the committee would find it appropriate to have those funds that are being used for the educational professional temporary assignment pieces come to TQ in a form of a request that we could review and approve. I don't, Nicole, we've done things where we've done a formal motion and voted, and then we've done other things where we just kind of say, yep, we all agree. I don't know if you have a way that you have done things in the past with your TQ committees.
I think we could do the formal motion, or we could do the reaction and use our little fun little thumbs up. You know, we've moved into this virtual remote world.
All right, well, we'll just do it as all in favor of having the requests come to TQ, either put a thumb up like the real world, or show it in a good job, show it in your screen. And Pat, I can't see yours.
You've got the little thumb up.
Oh, I see it now. All right, thanks everybody. So we will let everyone know that that's the way that's working now, and then we will have those to review. If for some reason they come in a time frame that we either don't have a meeting coming up, or it's right after the meeting we just held, then we'll do those electronically. Since we all are getting really good at that part then. Was there anything else on the budget then, Nicole?
Do you want me to keep kind of going through? I
Oh,
just have
Linda.
a few items. Sorry,
Go ahead,
that was my
Linda.
fault. I paused.
I do have a
So-
question on that first line, the educational professional, that 191st day. We talk about the expenses, how much we spend, but it says yearly budget needed. So typically I always thought about that happening at the beginning of the year. So when we have that amount needed, is it paid out over different, quarters of the year, or how is that paid out, or why do we have such a balance in there?
Good question. Do you want me
I
to,
understand.
Nicole? I can answer it. So that is the cost of all of our teachers getting that one day pay. And because because teachers, just like principals, we get paid over the 26 or 27 pay periods, that's the amount that comes out of each of those pay periods. And I don't know, well, you don't get to see our checks, but on our checks, it actually lists it as a separate line item. So each pay period, I get $100 towards that 191st day. So.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yep. It's kind of odd to me though, that it's not, well, I guess we're not halfway through the year with our pay. We're halfway through the year with teaching, but not with our pay. So that's why it's less than half. So.
Right. And it's a little behind, even lagged of your pay, just based on what payroll can report and send to Laura. So there's even more of a lag time in that, but.
Got it.
So then the benefits are for that 191st day, in addition to all that additional work time that's on the separate document. The instructional purchase services, none of that's happened yet because NASAT usually happens in the fall. We have those scheduled days in June, so we haven't paid for them, but that will come out of here. And then the HRS certifications for the buildings. The plan is to continue to proceed. It will look a little different because it will be virtually, but we do have 6 to 8, potentially even 9 now schools that will request for a certification for the spring. So those costs, they're still sending us things, but they're planning on about $2,000 per school for HRS certification. So we might save a little bit of money there, but we do have more schools than we had planned on, just because the cost, because they're not traveling here anymore, is less than it was before. The staff workshop conference registration, I think pretty self-explanatory. There's a little bit of room for cost there. The other professional services, that's the current expenditure for that ASCD for professional learning, and we reduced that substantially. We still have this year the yearly budget of $110,500. We may be using ASCD for some PL. We bring that before this committee again. We might have some of that still roll over, but we're supposed to be using that allocation this year. And again, that's been reduced drastically because we got rid of all of those licensures. And then if you look at the bottom, just a note, the 3-year agreement now total, because we've updated that quite a few times, is at $240,500, and that ends in 2023. Then the reference research material, that's pretty self-explanatory too for any type of, I don't think much comes out of that, but it sounds like if people have requests that would come to the committee. And then I learned about mentoring for veteran teachers from Tanya. So we have 3,000 budgeted there and haven't spent any of that. I don't know if we will or not, but that's typically the amount that we allocate on a yearly basis in case there's a need there. So again, we're still at that a little different, but $323,411 of funds that are not expended. That of course does roll over. If the team is thinking about HRS conference again for the future, because hopefully, again, life goes back somewhat to normal, that would be a good carryover amount, kind of what you looked at about for last year, to try to plan for that for the upcoming year.
The one question that I have, and sorry, we didn't get a chance to really talk about this earlier, but the staff workshop conference registration fee, counselors virtual training sort of thing. So I think in the past there was opportunities for some of those things to go through as Common Core requests and didn't, again, like I said, didn't come to TQ. So I think maybe that would be appropriate for those to come to TQ as well, because as far as we're concerned, the ones that have been here for a while, we don't really have opportunity for conferences for individual folks. So just a thought on that.
I would completely agree with that. I think any funds that are coming out of TQ should be reviewed by the TQ committee and approved.
And in the past, when we actually had teachers that were doing projects and things, we actually had a form that they filled out. And I don't think we're going to be going down to the teacher level of saying, you know, if you want to go and do this specific thing, because I think we'd get a lot of requests that we probably couldn't cover. But maybe Laura Evelyn has a form that she has used in the past for that you can bring to us when they come through.
I will ask Tanya and see if she has one, or we can get one created.
Does anyone have any comments then on the amount of carryover? I mean, that's usually we were carrying over between 100 and 200,000. And last year was going to be a lot lower than that because of the HRS conference until that was canceled, which gave us a kind of a good size carryover. What do you guys think?
I mean, if there's no other need for the money, then I say, let's carry it over. I mean, it's always good because you never know what's going to come up. So I don't want to just spend it so we don't have carryover.
Yeah, am I on? I can't.
Yes, we can hear you.
I think it's been a weird year in so many ways, and so that's going to be weird too. And there may be things pop up next year as a result of this stuff that we need training for, people need help with, that maybe we can't foresee right now, and it'll take more than we've needed in the past. So I think some extra carryover is good.
All right. Anyone else that has any differing opinions on that? Otherwise, I think we will go with that and kind of have that as our carryover for now. And even between now and the end of the year, if something comes up, we will continue to have those conversations. All right. Any other questions about the budget then?
I just got a little one. Was that money for mentoring for veteran teachers? Is that for veteran teachers that are struggling or who are mentoring the newcomers or the first 1 or 2 year teachers?
Yeah, good question. Good question. That is our mentoring for our teachers in need of assistance that are on plans. And generally it goes to our retired teachers or well, almost always it's been retired teachers because they're just the easier ones to be able to bring in for that. Good question. All right, thanks. So Ryan, would you be able to just share a little information with us about what's been happening with the courses and the decision to not do anything for a little while and what we're doing now, what has started now?
Yeah, not a problem. So
Thanks, Ryan.
starting the 27th, so Wednesday, we have 5 classes that are starting up using Google in the Classroom by Julie Bierman, level 2 Google certification, Dismantling Racial Inequities for Black Boys Part 2, the Mindful Educator, practicing self-care through mindfulness and take time for you, self-care action plan for educators. Will start. So all of those are repeats except for Dismantling Racial Inequities for Black Boys Part 2. That is a continuation or part 2 of the first class that had about 200 participants in it over the last year and a half, 2 years, and are asking for that second class. The 2 Google Classrooms, level 1 and level 2 certification, we had like about 300 people go through those last year, and so we're going to bring them back. And then obviously the mindfulness and self-care is, I talked to Julie Heemstra on Friday, and she said those are very, very popular right now for people trying to sign up for those. One thing too that if you are struggling to sign up for classes because you have to be on the network to log on to the professional database, email Julie Heemstra and she will get you signed up for those classes. That came up with a lot of our remote teachers that aren't able to come and get on the network to sign up for those classes, but we'll get you signed up. We did take a break in the first semester. That was due to everything that was going on. And so we decided to start back up in second semester. One thing that we do need to be conscientious of is that we need 10 courses per year to keep our renewal certification happening. It doesn't have to be new courses, just 10 courses offered. So we have 5 so far. And I think there are Carla's letters happening this year.
We do have one, yes, we do have one course of 1 through 4 happening this year.
So
And
letters.
we'll also have this summer, the training for 5 through 8, which we can count as a course. So that'll be 2 for letters.
Yep. And then, thank you. We have a couple other people that are interested. Bridget Castelliccio is putting together technology for elementary teachers course. And so those are the ones that were happening. Right now, we have a lot of technology, a lot of equity, and then a lot of self-care courses that are being created. And so we'll just kind of recycle some of those until we notice that people aren't signing up for them. And then we'll try to find some new ones after that.
Gail?
Sorry. Is it 10 courses in a school year or 10 courses in a calendar year? That's what I was just wondering.
Yeah, 10 courses in a calendar year. So we go from October 1st to September 29th. The application is due every October 15th, I believe.
So we can count the summer courses. And if we need to put a quick one in August.
Yeah. We have until October. So basically we have first quarter 2 of the new school year.
Okay.
We can count. Yep.
And then the class that you talked about with Bridget doing, is that one that she knows what that topic's going to be? Did we approve that one?
We approved it
Okay.
last spring, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it just hasn't materialized.
She's probably been a little busy.
Yeah, it hasn't materialized into anything. And so she hasn't offered to teach it yet. But yeah, it was one of those that was
Okay.
last spring.
Okay. Awesome. And the Google in the classroom and then level 2, are those still getting a pretty good amount of participants?
I don't know the total off the top of my head. I would have to ask Julie. I know that Julie Heemstra said the self-care ones were really popular right now. But I would assume that if you don't get over a certain amount of people, we cannot keep the class going. So think it's like 10 to 11 people need to attend. So, yeah.
The Google one I'm taking, and it sounds like it's pretty full. So I haven't actually logged on and figured it out, but I thought it would be a good thing for me to learn how to teach with Google Classrooms, right? So yeah, I signed up the other day. Kind of excited about it.
And that is one thing. We do cap them over a certain amount. Julie is pretty flexible. She takes up to like 50, 60 people. I know using Google in the classroom in level 2, we had 100 to 200 people doing that. I know our one class that was Google for Future Ready students had over 100 people in it. But we do cap. That's the hard thing, is after a certain amount, it's just not good adult learning to have 50 people for one teacher.
Yeah. Well, and we have the opportunity, if it gets higher than that, to have a second teacher, correct? If we,
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. That was good information, and something kind of happy for once, like to get these classes going. I know there's lots of people that are excited about kind of starting that. And I appreciate the comment about struggling, if they're struggling to get signed up. I will make sure that gets in the minutes and out to people so that they understand it as well.
And one thing I want to point out to the team is that our participation rates have gone up quite a bit. I know that's something that our PL charter committee has worked on what is it that staff need. And I think we felt a pretty good sweet spot right now, and catering to what the staff needs. So that's always a continual revision process of surveying staff to see what they need next. But it seems like these are still widely popular classes. So we'll keep offering them until the numbers go down.
Awesome. And one last thing. So they start this week, and when do they finish?
Yeah, so we have five terms. So we're in term 3 right now, which is from January to March. And then term 4 is spring breakish to May. And then the summer term is until the first day of school. So
there's plenty of time to get 10 classes then.
Yeah, we just got to think of some. Anybody want to?
Another thing, it might just be a good, I know that we don't want to keep sending surveys out to folks, but like you said, to get information from our teachers on the classes that they've taken and would definitely promote for other people to take. And then just that idea of, is there something they've taken maybe from a different institution that would be something that would be nice for us to put together in-house. But I know the teachers that work on these classes put in a lot of time and effort to do it. And we're very, very lucky for Cedar Rapids to have the charter to be able to do that. Aren't we, Nicole?
Extremely fortunate, and I'm glad I get to take them too. So yeah, I think that's a huge benefit.
All right. So that was all I had on our agenda for today to discuss. Right now, we have our meeting set up for once a month, and we're thinking that February is there's hopefully isn't going to be a lot happening here with budget or with other things happening. So we are not going to have our February meeting, if that is okay for everyone. And then we will touch base again in March. And then kind of that will be when we're looking at budgets and staffing and all those kinds of things. And that might give us another chance to also talk about what's up new for classes and things like that too. So Nicole, between now and then, if anything comes to you for requests on curriculum work, or even, I don't know if John would want to come to the TQ committee and explain kind of what happens with that curriculum work and the hours and things, that might be something good to happen as well. So I appreciate everyone's time. It looks like almost everyone's at home except for Nicole and I. So you guys can just sit and look out your window and not worry about anything at this point.
Tanya, did you say all the meetings were going to be on the 4th Monday of the month?
let me look and see what I have.
Because I thought originally you said that, and so I put them on my calendar, but
You know what? I think actually it was the third. I think it's the third Monday, but we didn't do it on the 18th because it was a comp day and a Martin Luther King Jr. So we moved it to the 4th.
so you didn't move all of them to the 4th, just that one.
Just that one.
Okay.
Did it? Let me look. Yeah, because in March, it looks like, oh no. No, you're right. The March one went to the 4th.
Well, because the 15th of March is spring break.
Oh, so that one, thanks. Was that you, Justin?
The man
That's
behind-
why I was wondering.
Okay, so let me look at April. April, it's back on the 3rd. So March will be the Monday after spring break. And then April, it will be on the 19th, which is the 3rd week. So, and did I not send out a calendar update, or do you have two different calendars, Cindy? Like I do, a paper one and a computer one. Oh, you just muted yourself.
I have two, but I just wanted to make sure with that spring break thing that
Yes.
is on the right page.
Yep. Excellent. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye, everyone.